So that's, kind of the basic level without getting into talking about what most people think of when they think of socialism, right? Getting into those theories and those thoughts. A classical Marxist analysis of capitalism, and we call these bullet points oversimplified key elements of a Marxist analysis of capitalism. The stack of, works that Marx and Engels alone produced. Very much would not be coverable, right, in an hour-long presentation, let alone a section of an hour-long presentation. I in college, I took whole classes just on Marxism. And so to talk about this in one slide, we're obviously very much oversimplifying. But some basics of classical Marxist analysis is class struggle is the primary driver of human history, as the owning ruling class privatizes what was once the public commons for profit and oppresses the working class, who must struggle for greater freedom. So Marxists very much think that class struggle is the core main driving thing behind change in human history. The state, which is the modern republican government, arose from monarchy and feudalism and was perfected under capitalism to indirectly manage society and affairs on behalf of the owning class via wealth and influence, right? And so as capitalism rose and, helped form what we know as the modern state, the modern government, it did so in a way that allowed the capitalists to maintain control without being in control visibly, right? It gave them a mechanism by which to play puppeteer rather than just openly, having corporate control. The state enforces material relative scarcity, poverty, via mechanisms like laws and policing for the benefits of the ruling class, right? Most conversations about the history of policing will point out, right, that the first, official police departments were about slavery, were about slave catching, and so it's always, the state is the violent actor. It's the how capitalism is enforced. Capitalism will always be compelled to grow more and more wealth for the ruling class by stealing more and more from the working class. This obviously isn't sustainable on a finite planet, so capitalism is doomed to eventually collapse. And we can see, we're on the train as it heads off the cliff. We can see this happening right now. The proletariat, or the working class, can and must gain power to accelerate the end of capitalism and its own oppression, replacing it with a workers' state. I think probably more so than in Marx's time, that's an important point. In generations past, we may have been able to slow roll change. Right, we may have been able to have a gradual transition, but we're at the point of multimodal crises, whether it be the climate or economics or the impending doom of nuclear warfare and things like that. That we don't have time to slow roll. Right, it really is essential that the working class gain power, and shift things right now, because the capitalist class is not going to shift. Is not going to make the shifts we need to survive as modern global society. And then the workers' state, that once the workers take control under classical Marxism, the workers' state is predicted to wither away into a classless communist society as relative scarcity is overcome. And we'll get into, that's a big point of conflict on the left, right? That is one of the major points of conflict across the left.